It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Concierge Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and downs, and there you were.
Good morning on this terrific Tundra Sunday. I'm Gene Sullivan, and with me is Tony Crockett. Good morning, Tony.
Morning, Gene.
And I think most of our listeners are getting shoveled and plowed out and able to get back on with their life. That's not true for you, though, today, Tony, is it?
No, not quite.
So,
all the streets appear to be cleared, but our alley is blocked on each end, so we can't get any of our cars out of the garage.
So what is it? Is it just snow, or are there vehicles that are piled up on either end, too?
Well, last time I looked, there was a vehicle stalled on one side of us in the alley, and I think the plows tried to come through the alley last night, and they only made it so far because of this blocked vehicle. So we're in between.
Okay.
Between a 10-foot wall of snow and a stuck car.
Yeah, you know, when I was I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I loved these kind of days, but I would prefer to have them not on a weekend, during the week, so I could miss a day of school.
Exactly. And, you know, it didn't happen very often when we were kids, I don't think.
Oh, I know. I'd like to be able to lecture my kids. Boy, it was tough. They closed, the schools didn't close for anything at all. We walked uphill in the snow both ways,
right.
You know?
That's right. And I think that's why they didn't close very often. It's because we walked to a neighborhood school that was nearby, so we didn't have to rely on transportation. Yeah.
Well, folks, we hope that things are going well for you. Most folks, I think, when they hear about a snowstorm, they quick run to the grocery store to grab some food, some videos, and then just kind of hunker down. So
that's right. In fact, my mom said she was at Costco on Friday, and the place was packed. But she said she went there for one thing only, and that was chocolate.
Well, she's a woman who has her priorities.
That's right.
Yes. Well, we hope that you all are having a great Sunday. We've got a lot to talk about on the show today. The one thing we're going to talk about, I think, is of great interest to me. You know, there's a homeowners association that went 9 years without an election for its board of directors.
Yay.
And because the board decided the homeowners living there just didn't need one. So we're going to be talking to someone who's been a part of that homeowner association. And folks, tell us the truth. When you think of the word government employee, don't you usually think of an emotionless, bureaucratic automatron? How would you like to meet someone who breaks that mold and uses both problem solving and diplomacy in doing their job well? And we're going to meet someone from the city of Coon Rapids, the housing inspector, who does just that. And another topic we can talk about today, folks, what would you think if the state of Minnesota told you tomorrow that as a homeowners association, we know you've been trying to collect money from a particular delinquent homeowner, but we don't think it's right that you get reimbursed for more than a certain amount of whatever you've paid to try to collect that debt. Is that fair practice to place a ceiling on the cost of collections, or is that going to put an unreasonable and unrealistic burden on the association and then subsequently all other homeowners? We'll talk about that and so much more. Please give us a call today. The number 651-289-4488. But it is time now for Property Management in the News. And today we have an article from the Orange County Register. It says, Homeowner Association seeks legal opinion on vote to limit homeowners' comments. In the Laguna Woods Homeowners Association, Wednesday, it said that the United Mutual Board said Wednesday it will seek an opinion from its attorney to determine if a recent vote on limiting members' comments at a monthly meeting was legal or not. Some residents have voiced opposition to the Homeowners Association's recent approved policy that will allow residents to address the board only at the beginning of the meeting during members' comments. The vote in November was a split decision, 5-5. On a resolution, the board president Gail McNulty casting the deciding vote in favor of limiting homeowners' comments. Another director, Barbara Copley, questioned whether the board would need a 2/3 majority to pass a rule like this limiting homeowners' comments. Residents of United Mutual were allowed to speak during a member comment section and then address the board during each resolution on the agenda. Residents will be allowed 3 minutes to speak on any issue, whether it's on the agenda or not, relating to United at the beginning of each board meeting. And Tony, what do you think of something like this?
This is a very common way to operate a meeting of a board of directors.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And particularly in our homeowner associations, the board has to have a meeting. It has to make decisions, have discussions and make decisions at that meeting, and yet they want to be open and above board to all the homeowners. So usually homeowners are invited to attend the board meeting, but then you need to have some kind of control so that homeowners don't get to discuss every issue that comes up.
Oh, exactly. I certainly appreciate this board that is trying to be sensitive and saying they want to make sure that they're acting properly in getting comments. But what's kind of sad for me is it seems to be an example of folks who just don't know how things work. They don't know how government works. The association, the government of a homeowners association, in one sense, is no different than we've talked about it so many times, than city government, state government, or the United States Congress.
I often compare a board of directors at a homeowners association to a city council. Their meetings are similar to a city council meeting. The other piece is that a homeowners association is a nonprofit corporation operated by a board of directors. So there's some state statute that comes into play there. Isn't that right?
Oh, yes, exactly. And that's one of the reasons why there's a little something called Robert's Rules of Order that comes into play here. And the whole purpose of that isn't to try and have people become too formal. Its purpose was designed and set up to allow everybody to have an opportunity to speak in an orderly and fashioned way. And, I think your analogy, you said the city government is right. I may go to a city council meeting because it's my city, and these are my council people, my mayor. But even though it's my mayor and my city council, that doesn't give me the right to just interrupt the meeting at any time I wish to ask questions or to throw in my 2 cents worth.
To voice your opinion, that's right. And you've mentioned this many times too, and that's because it's a representative government. Correct?
Yes, bingo, that's right. Our chief and foremost, we have elected people who are going to represent us, and the only reason for that isn't to have another class of citizenry, of people who have a special class. It is only because you can't get work done otherwise. How many times the larger the group, the less gets done because nobody knows who's leading. Everybody's trying to participate. When you limit that a little bit, you can get a lot farther, and that's why you have a board of directors.
Truth be told, individual homeowners don't have the right to voice their opinion during a board of directors meeting. That's why they elect their board members and that is to make decisions for them.
That's right. It's a very good point. It is the board meeting for the board of directors. They do have a right as a homeowner to sit in and to know what's going on.
Absolutely, and they have a right. In this case, I think the board is operating its meeting in a very fair and equitable way, and that is they're giving homeowners the chance to speak at the top of the meeting, to bring up any issues or concerns they have. But then that's it. They don't get to be involved in the ongoing discussion of agenda items.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, I certainly applaud this association board for being extra careful in how things go, but it was kind of sad for me to realize that there are a number of people who aren't real familiar or feel confident enough in how government and corporations work. And that's what we're talking about.
Education.
Well, that's right.
One of the things we're always advocating.
Yep. Well, that is Property Management in the News. That was brought to you today by Pest Control Services. Folks, when you need to get rid of an unwanted pest in your home or rental property, call someone who's responsive, professional, and a proud member of Angie's List. Give owner Greg Keener a call at 952-894-9748. That's Pest Control Services. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to a homeowner in an association where there were no elections for board members for 9 years. That's right. That and more after this break.